allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Tim Brown.
Here.
Councilman Rick Squirrel.
Here.
Chris LaFleur.
Here. Okay, we have a motion to adopt the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion to adopt the agenda. Second. Second. So I can hear any discussion on that, so all in favor say aye. Aye. We hear a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
No, you're a second.
I would second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Not hearing, all in favor say aye. Aye. Yes, we all. Meeting open to public, has anyone signed up?
Yes, Jerry today.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, my name is Jerry Tebate. I live at 4561 32nd Lane, Northwest here in St. Francis. There are 4 items that I'd like to talk about today. A couple of revolve around public safety. The first item is, as I was out talking to people, I had somebody bring up a concern about the roadway in between the 2 roundabouts. It's a single lane each way, there's median in the middle. No, I measured it, it's 18 feet from curb to curb. It doesn't really provide a whole lot of room for an emergency vehicle, or if there's a car stalled on the side of the road, or an emergency vehicle, for them to get by if their lights are on and somebody pulls over. And I was wondering if the city has come up with a solution to that, and how they're going to try to communicate that to the citizens. Because I do see that being an issue. You know, that I think vehicles on the road would be 6 wide, which puts it about 17 feet, so you got 6 inches. If everybody's touching the curb, you got 6 inches between cars. Secondly, that deals with public safety, seems like ever since school started, I've noticed a lot of cars not stopping for kids in the crosswalks around town. But more importantly, by Pedersen Drive. The lights are flashing, it's visible, and just from another county market just now, I watched a kid stop in the center of the median, and he had to wait for 4 cars to go by before he stepped out, and the lights were flashing. So I was wondering if council could direct our interim chief of police to maybe step up enforcement and start taking people that are breaking the law. I know that the police officers are being very proactive as far as trying to communicate with the kids to push the button, because that was a huge issue. And it still is an issue to some extent, but you know, I know they're communicating that at school, so I think the kids are coming along a little bit, but I think the drivers need to come along and maybe a little bit more forcefully if necessary. The third item that I wanted to talk about is, as I was out talking to people, I talked to a couple property owners, and this is rural St. Francis. I'm talking about by Tamarack Street, more on the east side of town. The comp plan was changed a couple of years ago to make it a minimum 10-acre lot size. And I talked to Nate Sparks, and this person had one of the people has a 19.87 acre parcel. He's unable to subdivide it all, and I was wondering if, I know we're talking about what we're going to do with the comp plan now, and maybe we could consider a plan of what to do with those parcels, or maybe perhaps change it back to a 5-acre minimum if there was not a good reason to go to 10-acre minimum. But I promised that I'd bring it up to the council, and I want to keep my promises. And the last thing, I know that about 4 years ago, in front of the council, discussion was brought up about perhaps letting 4-wheelers drive around on city streets here in St. Francis. We do allow, golf carts already drive around on city streets, providing they have to pay. But, in the last 4 years, I know the city of Oak Grove allows four-wheelers to drive on their city streets. I believe Melvin does, and Sandy also does now. And my intent isn't to have a bunch of kids racing up and down the street on Yamaha blasters or anything, but my intent is, a citizen, a mature adult such as myself, maybe taking my grandson for a ride around the block on a four-wheeler, just something that, maybe I gotta bring a box of tools over to my neighbor's house rather than load them in my pickup truck or trying to make 8 trips with by hand. Just jump on a four-wheeler, drive over there, I don't know how the council feels about that, but I also I wanted to bring that up and just try to gauge, the feelings. All right, thank you.
Okay. Petitions, requests, and applications. Northland Securities has a presentation for us, I believe, with some resolutions after. So,
Good evening, Mayor and the council. Yes, you've got item number 6 has got a number of items, and they all relate to the wastewater treatment facility. And so, initially, you're talking about just an overview of the topic, and then we can zero in on the items individually. In your packets, there's a finance plan, and this relates to part of the overall topic, and that is the need to come and issue additional temporary funds to round out the project financing. And I know Joe and Darcy can speak to this as well if I don't get all the points here, but about this time last year, we were talking about the need to issue some short-term financing as the state of Minnesota hadn't had the money available yet for the project financing. The funds have been allocated to the Public Facilities Authority of the funds were available. In particular, the grant funds, which have been earmarked for the city. And the discussion at that point was if we wait until additional financings or the state of Minnesota approves the budget, additional grant dollars may be available. As we know, the state has not approved their budget. And however, there's additional grant dollars, it appears, available for St. Francis, which is certainly positive. So Mayor and members of the council, there's a few items here, and item number 1 is what's called a reimbursement resolution. What that is a resolution that states that the city intends to reimburse itself for funds that it's using on its own. For example, you're using some of your general fund reserve dollars on project construction needs. The resolution allows you to come back and reimburse yourself when bond funds are available. So in short, that's what item number 1 is. And Mayor, would you like to have me address each one and then come back, or would you like to look at those individually?
let's address the council. You kind of need to hear the story, okay, and then come back and tackle it.
Sure.
Mary,
Okay. Again, that's item number 1. The item number 2 is accepting the offer from the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority for an approximate $21.9 million loan. Or overall financing package, I should say. And these, again, all relate to the construction of the wastewater treatment plant. Last November, the city did short-term financing for $16.2 million. That financing actually matures on November 1st of this year. And so there's a need to get the PFA, or Public Facilities Authority loan, in place so the city can pay off that short-term obligation by November 1st. So item number 2, the resolution accepting the offer of the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority, authorizes the issuance of that state of Minnesota financing package. The city will draw down the money as needed. So they don't necessarily need to draw down the entire 21.9 million right away. They'll draw down approximately 16.2 million in time to pay off that short-term obligation due homeowners. Any questions? Okay. Item number 3 is a resolution relating to the, actually item 3 and 4 are pretty much the same thing. It's relating to the additional financing needed to finish out the project. $5.8 million general obligation grant anticipation notes. It's nice in that title of bonds that I just stated, it's grant anticipation bonds, so that the intent is that the city will be getting grant dollars to pay out this short-term loan. And we did this last year with the $16.2 million loan, and that was entering into the state of Minnesota's credit enhancement program for utility projects. Water, sewer, and storm projects are eligible for this. What it does, it takes your already very strong credit rating, which is AA for the Standard & Poor's, moves it up 1 notch to a AA plus. And the state of Minnesota then stands behind the bond issue. To investors, that gives them a little bit more security, and they're more willing to accept a lower interest rate. So it's our recommendation certainly that we would have the city enter into this agreement, because that's again allowing you to enhance the bond rating, if you will, under upcoming borrowing. So 3 and 4 work together relating to that credit enhancement program. And finally, actually, I'm sorry, the 4 and 5, I'm sorry, 3 and 4 work together, and then 5 is that grant agreement for the point source implementation grant. State of Minnesota Public Facilities Authority, that's the grant when I referenced. Initially, it was about $3 million. I believe that's grown to, Joe, we have a number, I think that's $6 million approximately, is what we're hoping for, 6 to 7 million. So this is to allow you to enter into that grant agreement. Certainly that is something that we would recommend. It allows you to receive those grant dollars from the state of Ohio. Mayor, members of the council, that's a quick overview. I can certainly go back and address any of those items. I would note on the new bonds that I'm referencing for 2016C, the entering into the issuance of the $21 million obligation with the state of Minnesota is actually Series B. You'll be approving that this evening, considering the approval of that this evening. Series C that's the additional borrowing to round out the project financing, expected to be paid back or paid back for grant dollars from the state.
Council, any questions? Okay. If now we're anticipating getting these grants, worst case scenario, what happens if we don't?
Worst case scenario is the city has the authority to issue general obligation bonds on its own. I would certainly imagine that the state of Minnesota Public Facilities Authority would, in the event that you, for some reason, didn't get the grant dollars, they would potentially increase the level. I think that's certainly a possibility. The other would be that you have statutory authority to issue general obligation bonds. I think that's an unlikely scenario that you wouldn't receive the grant dollars, because the state has been working very closely with the city on this for it's certainly over a year now. So.
Questions still now?
Your question, just to clarify and expand a little bit on what Jordan's saying. So basically, we're maintaining a balance of about $5.8 million with the PFA. And so if we do not get that additional grant monies, we would take that additional $5.8 million and pay off the temporary financing that we're doing right now. If we do get it, then that grant money basically pays off the temporary bond that we're going to pull tonight. But we have to maintain the $5.8 million balance in order to in the future qualify for that grant out of the WIP funding.
and Mayor, I'm sorry, but I should have made this point as well. On the $5.8 million additional borrowing, tonight is just an overview. You're not issuing that debt tonight. You're approving entering into the credit enhancement program for that, so that we've got the AA+ bond rating. What I wanted to do is present that to you tonight. We're scheduled to come back on October 17th, that's the council. There will be a formal resolution to approve the sale of those funds. So tonight, informational on the 5.8, and then to enter into the credit enhancement program. And then certainly yes to issuing the long-term financing with the PFA on the fund.
Okay, back to the first one, there a motion to approve resolution 2016-46.
So Mayor Pro Tem, I would make a motion that we adopt resolution 2016-46. Count my three. -46.
We hear a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion passed 3-0. And number 2, resolution 2016-47.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2016-47.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I will second that.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Again, motion 2016-47 passed 3-0. Third one, resolution 2016-48. Open the motion for that one.
So Mayor, I would make a motion that we approve resolution 2016-48.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye. 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 Pass 3-0. And the next 4 and 5, you're just looking for a direction, right?
The number 4 you would have just addressed all of number 3.
Okay.
Number 5 then is really is the grant, and I don't think that's a resolution that you can just enter into the agreement by motion.
Okay. I'll make the motion to enter into that.
Second.
Any further discussion? Not hearing it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 3-0. Ordinance and resolutions. Haven't got any tonight. Reports from consultant staff members. And we're going to be going down to C. And you're on.
Mayor and Council, before you in your packet, I have 2 resolutions in regards to the redevelopment project at 2040 233rd, also known as our abandoned gas station. As we've been discussing tools since the spring about economic development, today I'm proposing a step that would allow us to preserve the ability to use tax increment financing or TIF on that site. This would fall within the parameters of the business subsidy policy that we have passed, and ensuring a public benefit would be met if we were to establish that district at a given time. Tonight is only about securing the ability to preserve the district. The resolutions before you are really specific to 2 separate actions. The first resolution is to preserve the ability to establish a TIF district. This is more of a timing issue, as the resolution must be approved prior to a demolition permit being pulled for that site. This step does not obligate the city to enter in or establish a TIF district. It does not enter into any financial commitments upon the property or the project. What this means is if the owners were to pull a demolition permit without the city taking a step, it would eliminate our economic development tool of being able to use TIF going forward. So it's more of a motion to preserve that right if we so choose in the future to use it. The second resolution in the packet is in regards to an interfund loan. This resolution outlines the potential dollar amounts to address acquisition, demolition, and planning expenses on a TIF district. However, this is an up to amount, it cannot be exceeded without further council action. And establishing this loan is a step that would allow the city to be reimbursed if expenses were to be paid out on the site prior to that establishment of the TIF district. It would also allow us to reimburse ourselves for any costs incurred prior to the establishment of that TIF district. To date, this is really a planning step at the end, and there are no expenses that have occurred that are requiring the step to take place. Recently, the owners have been discussing demolition. We have seen some movement over there in regards to cleaning out the interior, and we're also working with them to take down some of the brush and clean up the exterior as far as the landscape and some of the broader issues. What this does tonight is set in place that we also know there is no guarantees for the way the owners have operated in the past 10 years. We've seen the movement and maybe not complete action. Having a TIF district will allow a private development to come in and request that as an economic development tool. However, the owners fail to move forward or don't take actions in place, it will allow the city to use that TIF funding or creation of a TIF district to also reimburse themselves or to use funds for acquisition, demolition, or the infrastructure needed for redevelopment. So it has a potential benefit to both private and the city. So tonight I'm here requesting through resolutions 2016-49 and 50 that the city council consider preserving the ability to use TIF and the creation of the interfund zone. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think I just answered my questions. I read this, but this, if I remember right, the car wash is on a different lot than the actual station was, right?
Correct,
And
right
you're
now.
covering, and it looks like you're covering lots 1, 2, and 3, so that covered what we all think of as the property, right?
Correct.
Okay, very good, thank you. That was my only question.
The question I have is, I would like to go along with what you're saying, but as a last resort, I don't want to get in the real estate business. So please do whatever it takes to get someone interested. Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on resolution 2016-49? As a motion of some sort?
I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2016-49.
Here a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
This building here has been empty now for 13 years, so I know the city's tried very hard, I know since I've been on council, we've been just discussing this issue. So I'd like to move forward with this and get really aggressive with that property there. So it's right across the street from the city hall. So any investments or businesses owned in the city, that's the first thing that they see. So thank you.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion I can see. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pass 3-0. Your next one, resolution 2016-50. Motions for that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we hear a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing any? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass 3-0. And I believe,
Yeah, Mayor, I'll do the last piece of my staff report would be the month end of August 31st. I have a department monthly report. I submitted one for the month of July also, so this shows the increase we've had from residential coming in, some of the permit movement we've had. We have added the zoning permits to kind of show a little bit about the specifics as to what we're looking at, which are simple fences or some of your more minor permits. And then I've also added the vacant building and rental just to show the big picture of the types of housing we have in the city and what type of administration programs. I would be happy to answer any questions on that.
I don't have any questions. Very good work. Thank you. Public Works. July, August.
Good evening, council. In your packet tonight, we do have have the July and August reports for the street, parks, water, sewer. Just a couple interesting notes for the water and sewer portion. If you notice on the near the end of the report, you'll see District 3 inventory and then also District 4 inventory. What that is we're actually going around and inspecting every single gate valve that we have in that district and making sure that they're in good shape and good condition. So and we'll be attaching that to an overall plan that will go along with our streets so that we can have a good idea of where we need to be when we're doing maintenance for each district, and we're taking a step-by-step approach as far as the work that needs to be done in those areas. In the streets and parks, just a couple quick notes. The park events continue to be high. You know, we have a lot of activity happening in each one, with 37 in July and 27 in August. So grass is still very green, as everybody is very much aware. About this time every year, we're looking at slowing down, things drying out, but with all the rain we've had, we've been very, very active with mowing and everything. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions? I do. How are you as far as sitting for being prepared for what's claimed to be a nice winter?
The snow. We did have all of our vehicles gone through, the bus garage every year and goes through everything. And, all of our equipment is up to snuff as far as DOT inspections and any repairs mechanically. So, of course, we haven't put the plows on any of the equipment, but we try to put everything away, repaired and fixed so that it's ready to go and all it needs to be is mounted. So,
How long does it generally take you to do a switch over? If we get an early surprise, which I got a feeling we might.
For the bigger trucks, it typically doesn't take too long. We can get a sander and plow on and get a bigger truck rolling in, 4 hours probably. The motor grader typically does take a little bit longer because there's equipment that has to be disassembled off the machine and then new equipment needs to be put on the machine. So that can take us up to 2 days getting the bits off the moldboard and also getting the roller packer off and then the big stand mounted on. So it does take some time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, City Administrator talking tonight. Nice to see you. Reports to council members. Chris, do you have any? I don't think we report. Rich, do you have? No. And I have nothing. The mayor, he has nothing. Any old business?
Do we have any updates on the camera and audio system for council meetings? By chance? And we discussed, it was about a month ago or so.
It's brought up that it's good cost of improvements in the school district. I don't know where the proposal went down, but that was what was discussed at our staff level. I don't know whether anything short-term slated nursing because
Right now, not really doing anything. I know that people came up to the phone. We have to go to live, YouTube live now. And so they're working on something like that.
I'm just still hearing some complaints that people have a hard time listening to the audio or YouTube channels.
Animals. Looks like we have a couple things for new business. I'll probably talk to our chief about this, about the roundabouts, how that kind of work. If there's a blockage.
Well, there's a police department vehicle that came to the
including that in the roadway between the roundabouts, if we are going to emergency call to that area, and the vehicle's present, we're gonna shut off our lights and sign until we get there. That's, to determine that's the best way to maybe alleviate some panic on people if they can't pull over, if they don't have enough room. So that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, the fire.
Same.
With the roundabouts, between the two roundabouts, I guess I'm more disappointed, because I thought there's supposed to be a full shoulder there for emergency vehicles, at least between the roundabouts, and just only 18 feet, and a lot of fire trucks are a lot wider. And what happens if a car breaks down, or if there's a car that breaks down, are we gonna have people back up, and we can't turn around there. So, especially if somebody driving a smart car, they can't jump the curbs, so I guess I'm just a little disappointed. I thought they're supposed to be full shoulders.
So does anybody have an action there? Are we gonna ask the engineer to go ask the county? Why is it the way it is?
Yeah, I would do that, because I'm getting a lot of feedback from the fire department, the police department, and also the public, so I just want them to, so we can hear from them on what the reason is for that.
Yeah, I think when we were sold on this, that wasn't gonna be an issue, we were sure. That's what I remember anyway. Now it seems to be an issue.
And just a reminder too, Bridge Street is a county road, it's not a city road, so it's a county-led project on it. So,
And then, one other thing that was brought up tonight, though, and I'm a little bit confused by the flashing light at 47 myself. Now, I've been through there a couple times and lights and flashing, and there hasn't been a human move that site. So, what's the procedure? Do I get stopped near rear-ended, or do I proceed with caution?
Well, they're pedestrians are present. I know the state is involved in setting timing of them lights. I know they do go on for quite some time after the pedestrian are through there. It definitely gives them enough time to walk across all the lanes, and it's been brought up as I've been through there too when the lights have been flashing when they're around. But typically they're halfway to the park when they're doing that. But I think it accounts for maybe the time that they do to take to get across the road. I think that when they're halfway through there. So I guess that's something that we discuss with the state as far as looking at the time of that.
Maybe we can check into that.
also, if we could have extra patrol, I just wanted to, yes.
Any other new business?
Well, you missed your 7-minute goal, so I'm on one.
Yeah.
I really like these reports that staff is putting together. And I wonder if there's a need when we get this plan together for the stormwater, how we're gonna use that money. I think we have to go off and go do. I really like this format of, here are the things we've been doing. We inventoried this, we did that. I think you told me the plan as required by the state is due in October. So that's coming. It's gonna tell us, here's what we need to go off and go do. I think once that is in place, so I'd like to see some kind of reporting like this where you can point to, here's where those funds are going and here's what they're doing. I think that would be a very good idea.
Any other new business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So,
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.